I used to be a total nobody, weak, overlooked, and easy to ignore. That changed the moment I summoned a wild assassin who loves chopping off enemy heads and tying ribbons around them. Yeah, I unlocked a summoning skill, but not just any summons. I call in powerful humans from other dimensions with insane abilities. From that point on, everything flipped. I started climbing the tower with these superhumans, wiping out monsters, clearing floors at top rank, earning cash and rare gear. Now my goal is simple. Reach the top and become the strongest awakener alive, stacking wealth and everything I want with my unhinged summons. Bongju Hayak's day began like always. Heading home, passing a couple of street guys hanging around. One spits, the other swears after stepping in it. They talk about scamming someone, but Ju Hayak just walks past. His tiny rooftop studio is loud and messy, but it's all he can afford. Dinner? Instant ramen again. That's his routine. He's Bongja Hayak, 25, stuck working 3 part-time jobs. No real career path, buried in debt that keeps him broke no matter how hard he hustles. No special skills, just decent health and a future as dull as his noodles. He even calls himself a beta guy with a totally forgettable life. Then that night, while eating ramen, a status window suddenly appears in front of him saying he's awakened. He nearly burns his tongue in shock. Is this actually happening? People say awakening is a blessing. Play it smart and it beats winning the lottery. But only if you live through it. The tower is ruthless. Monsters tear you apart, burn you, freeze you, poison you, danger everywhere. Ju Hayak has always avoided risk and stayed invisible. Being a nobody is all he's ever known. So awakening now feels like a ridiculous twist of fate. Maybe he's just exhausted and seeing things. Still, he gives it a shot and whispers status window, and damn, it actually opens. All his trait skills are summoning based, designated summon, random summon, normal summon. He doesn't even fully get what summoning really is, but it sounds like a strong trait. Every awakener gets a unique power. Some gain soar mastery, some can grow huge, and others get strange abilities. Summoners usually call spirits, beasts, or golems. So what exactly did he become? He decides to test it. He strikes a goofy anime-style pose, feels embarrassed, and says the skill name out loud. Nothing happens. Then it hits him. Skills don't work outside the tower. Everyone knows that from online posts. He just got too excited and forgot. Suddenly the status window says the summon is activating. He freezes as a purple blur appears near his door, and a man steps out of it. Hold on, that's a real person. This has to be wrong. The guy greets him, and Ju Hayak starts sweating hard. Not only did the summon trigger outside the tower, it's actually human. The man sniffs the air and asks about the ramen, and Ju Hayak offers him some, joking that maybe he summoned a one-bite thief. The summon devours it and complains that it's spicy. Ju Hayak laughs and mocks him. How is that even spicy? But seriously, why did his skill work outside the tower? And has anyone ever summoned a human before? He pulls up his status again. It says he can summon humans with ranks from R to SR to SSR, and even LSSR, just like a game. The summons follow strict rules. First, protect the summoner's life. Second, follow every command. If the two ever clash, protection comes first. Total obedience sounds amazing, but who exactly did he just call here? He checks the guy's stats. Mad Killer from the Cruel Guild, real name John Corsack, a low-tier assassin with a 6-hour summon limit, a satisfaction score, and a 3-hour cooldown. John was the guild's outcast, a loose cannon with a 99% mission success rate. He even eliminated a 5th Circle Black Mage before dying on a contract. A brutal headache hits Ju Hayak as all this data floods his mind, his eyes glowing blue as he's pulled into another world. He starts seeing Jay's past. The assassin tears through 3 men, cutting off their heads and tying bows around them. This guy is seriously messed up. Turns out John's final mission was a setup. The Empire's top sword master was waiting, and John was sliced in half before he could even move. Reality snaps back, and John is suddenly right behind Ju Hayak, whispering in his ear. Ju Hayak panics and slams into his monitor. John calmly apologizes and asks if there's anything he should handle. Ju Hayak reminds himself that summons must obey their master completely. So he orders John to clean the ramen mess and wipe the table. John finishes instantly. Maybe the obedience rule is legit. Curious, Ju Hayak tells John to bark like a dog. John immediately runs circles around the room, barking nonstop. This guy is absolutely unhinged. Then heavy pounding hits the door, debt collectors. Ju Hyak forgot today was payment day. He borrowed around 7 grand for his dad's surgery and his siblings' college since no bank would approve him. Private lenders, brutal interest. He's already paid back more than half just in fees. But he had no other option. He'd still make the same choice. He orders John to hide in the bathroom and stay silent. The collectors shove their way in, throwing disgusting jokes about selling organs and even his sibling. Ju Hyak forces himself to stay calm and endure it while they threaten him. And eventually, they leave. John quietly steps out of the bathroom, having kept silent exactly as ordered. Worn out, Ju Hyak wonders if he's really built for the tower. He's always been timid, and even with big money at stake, that part of him hasn't changed. John asks what he should do now. Ju Hyak tells him he's free to go if he wants, but John says he'd rather watch TV. Ju Hyak doesn't know how John even knows about dramas or ramen, but he shrugs. Why not? John starts binge-watching shows, and for once Ju Hyak feels comforted just having someone there. He falls asleep and wakes to his alarm, only to notice John is gone. The summon only lasts 6 hours, after all. The morning news is blasting reports about a brutal murder at the Smile Cash Loan office. 3 bodies found without heads, ribbons tied around them. Ju Hyak drops his toothbrush when it clicks. That's Jay's calling card. Panic creeps in as he recalls the memories he witnessed earlier. He gets so shaken at work that he starts imagining his boss's severed head with a ribbon, asking him to scan items. He can't concentrate and ends up taking time off, weighed down by guilt. That night at home, he checks Jay's stats again. The guy is clearly unstable, but the system says he can't harm his summoner. Even so, Ju Hyak feels uneasy. When he tries to call John again, a window appears saying he has to rate Jay's performance first. He wants to give 1 star for being crazy, but remembers how harsh ratings hurt workers like his mom. So he gives 3 stars instead. John appears, polite and grateful, thanking him for the score and promising to do better. Ju Hyak can't believe someone that normal looking is so dangerous. He directly asks if John killed the loan sharks. John calmly says yes. Handle them all before his time limit ended. Stay steady, knowing John can't attack him, and asks how he even found the place. John says he tagged them with a tracking skill when they forced their way in. They were a threat, and threats get removed. Ju Hyak argues that he never gave that command, but John explains how the rules work. If the summoner's safety is at risk, protection overrides obedience. Even if Ju Hyak ordered him to end his own life, John wouldn't follow it. The rules allow wide judgment, and from John's perspective, those men were a danger bound to return. Ju Hyak calls that insane, then apologizes. John says he's heard that plenty of times before. Ju Hyak tries to explain how risky this is. What if they bump into some street thug? Normally, it's just empty talk, but John would probably cut him down and decorate the head with a ribbon. Ju Hyak nervously chews his nails. John drops to one knee and apologizes, but Ju Hyak insists killing isn't the solution. It could drag them into serious trouble. John agrees to be more restrained. At least he follows orders well. John then asks if Ju Hyak plans to enter the tower. Ju Hyak admits it's a rare chance, but he's scared people die there. He wonders if other summoners have called John before. John says yes, there are true heroes, though he seems a bit down saying it. Ju Hyak feels small compared to people who use power to protect the world. John disagrees. He says Ju Hyak is the ideal summoner. Survival comes first, and that matters most. Bold summoners burn out fast, and if Ju Hyak dies, John can't return either. He tells him not to stress and focus on staying alive. John will take care of the ugly work. That night, Ju Hyak can't sleep, stuck thinking about the tower. Maybe he should just be thankful the loan sharks are gone and go back to his normal routine. If he keeps working nonstop, maybe life will slowly improve. Then his dad calls, talking about switching hospitals and how his mom just lost her job. Ju Hyak says he'll visit soon and hangs up, the pressure crashing down on him again. He throws on some makeshift armor, a construction vest, and grabs a bath. His plan is simple. Check the first floor of the tower and quit right away. Since he already took the day off, this is his chance. He thinks about summoning someone new and maybe landing a legendary pull, but the random summon has a 28-day cooldown. So he calls John instead, gives him a 5-star rating, and says they're going to the tower. John reads him easily, not brave, just careful. Ju Hyak admits he only plans to step in, look around, and run. John's fine with that and tells him to drop the goofy gear. Once inside, John will handle everything. Ju Hyak just needs to stay behind him. A status window appears asking if he wants to enter Korea's Black Tower. Only the first floor is unlocked. Ju Hyak steadies himself, checks if John is ready, and presses enter. As they're pulled inside, Ju Hyak screams in panic while John keeps a firm grip on him. When the spinning stops, they're at the edge of a barren wasteland. Ju Hyak throws up. John says he'll get used to it. A mission window appears. Defeat 5 fat grubs in 2 hours. John points them out. They're meant to be beginner monsters like practice targets, but their hides are thick. Most newcomers beat one every 30 minutes, but Ju Hyak is a player now too. He decides to try killing the first one himself and borrows one of John's weapons. The moment he steps forward, the grub rises up, and Ju Hyak knows he's messed up. He freaks out and shouts for Jay to help. John says that's actually the smartest decision he's made so far. Then he crushes the grub in a single strike. He tells Ju Hyak to stay back and goes completely wild. Knives flying, blades exploding, grubs getting torn apart in every direction. Ju Hyak just stands there in shock as John wipes out all 5 without even breathing hard. The mission clears instantly. Ju Hyak levels up, collects 100 G of magic stones, and even earns a platinum badge with an S+ score. It felt way too easy. He starts thinking he could seriously make money like this. What he doesn't know is how massive this achievement is. Players all across South Korea receive a notification about it. When he's sent back home, he's confused. It only took 3 minutes, and his head is spinning a bit. John congratulates him, and Ju Hyak laughs, saying he didn't do anything. John still says he performed well, but Ju Hyak knows most people are exhausted after beating just 5 grubs. He examines the magic stones and realizes they're highly valuable for modern industry, even if prices have fallen lately. The platinum badge, though, that's something rare. With 50,000 earned in 3 minutes, Ju Hyak decides to treat John. He buys premium convenience store food, and John instantly recognizes pork trotters. Ju Hyak double-checks that it's not spicy since John is weak with heat. John jokes about the spice anyway. They laugh, chat about John's odd way of talking, and Ju Hyak admits it's actually pretty fun. He's now convinced John and the tower aren't as terrifying as he first thought. The next day, he plans to quit his worst job and focus on climbing the tower with John during his free time. He gives John another 5-star rating, joking he'd give 10 if it were possible. John explains that higher satisfaction scores unlock bonuses, longer summon time, higher rank, and better odds on future pulls. Then they step into the tower's 2nd floor. This time the mission is to eliminate 10 grubs, and they're much faster than before. Ju Hyak admits he has no clue how to handle it, but John tells him to relax. He says they'll be done and back home in 3 minutes. Ju Hyak asks if John wants chicken and beer afterward, and John eagerly agrees. He says he wants another excuse to use Blade Explosion anyway. Just like he promised, Ju Hyak clears the 2nd floor with 0 trouble, picking up 200 G of magic stones, landing another S+ score, and earning 1 more platinum badge. He starts wondering if it's really meant to be this simple. Even for a speed run, this feels insanely fast. At this pace, he could jump in, clear a floor, and still make it to his morning part-time shift. On the 3rd floor, even more grubs appear, but John deletes them in seconds. Another 300 G of magic stones, and yet another platinum badge drop into his inventory. The same pattern repeats floor after floor until Ju Hyak clears 5 straight levels. Because he collects 5 platinum badges, he unlocks a special reward. His awakened trait upgrades, allowing him to summon 2 creatures at the same time. That sounds completely broken to him, since even one summon has already been crushing everything. The S+ clear rewards were amazing, but Ju Hyak figured there had to be something even better. Still, chasing that would just make him blast through the tower without breaking a sweat. The random summons still had over 20 days left on cooldown, so he planned for all 3 of them to go together later. Let's be honest, he'd probably just chill while John and whoever else did the real work. For now, tomorrow meant back to the grind with John. Meanwhile, at the Korean Awakened Management Society, everyone was tense. One guy wondered if the next announcement would hit in the morning or late at night. A woman asked if he meant the tower notice, and he jumped, telling her to stop sneaking up. The guy was Joan Gwang-il, and the woman was Lee Mina. She admitted she couldn't help being curious. Gwang-il asked if there were any new updates, and she said yes. Another S+ rank clear, this time on the 6th floor. He pointed out that global Black Tower alerts have been non-stop, each one showing an insane new rank clear. Clearly, it It was just one person tearing through floors with skill nobody had ever seen. If the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th floors ended up as +2, no one in the world could touch this player. They were totally misreading the situation. Just then, the agency director, Parku, slammed his desk. He reminded them that Korea's best record so far was only in normal rank. For a higher grade to appear publicly meant international attention could come sniffing around. Someone might even try to capture the player, and Korea could lose him to another country. They had to find this player immediately, monitor all new registrations, and catch him before anyone else did. A few days later, Ju Hyak asked John if they were heading to the 8th floor that day. John said yes, all while doing house chores. Ju Hyak thought clearing a floor a day with 0 effort was pretty sweet. Up to the 10th floor, you ditched the newbie status, and things might get tougher after that, but for now, it was a breeze. As they walked through the forest on the 8th floor, the mission was to take out 10 red thorn frog warriors. One frog leapt at John, tongue snapping, but John just coated his blade with aura and sliced through it, and the other 9 like it was nothing. Another 4 down. Ju Hyak collected 800 G of magic stones, a tower-exclusive healing potion, another S+ rank, and yet another platinum badge. John said, "Good work again," but Ju Hyak told him he didn't need to keep saying that since John was doing all the work. John replied that entering the tower was the hardest part, and Ju Hyak admitted that thanks to John, climbing had always been easy. John warned him not to get too comfortable. Things would get rougher after the 10th floor. After another 3-minute clear, Ju Hyak thought about getting John a gift for all his effort. There was still plenty of real-world time left, so he told John to go out, have fun, and eat something good. Just don't get into trouble. John refused, saying he couldn't leave Ju Hyak's side, so he just watched TV at home. Ju Hyak asked if John wanted to order some chicken, and John said that sounded perfect. Ju Hyak immediately started calling for delivery, joking that John had basically turned into a chicken. He checked his rewards, thought about giving John a healing potion, but was stumped about what to do with all the magic stones piling up in his inventory. Selling the magic stones would net him about 2 million each, so Ju Hyak figured it was time to start cashing out soon. By day 10 of climbing, they were nearly ready for the 10th floor. He admitted he'd only meant to try the tower for fun, but now he was clearing a floor every day. The 9th floor had been just as easy as the others. Clearing it was a given, but getting double S+ rewards was a nice bonus. Honestly, John was his MVP. Ju Hyak had already pushed the thought of John killing 3 people aside, but whatever. He summoned John again, and thanks to all the high ratings, John got to stick around an extra hour. Totally worth it. John appeared, making a heart symbol with his arms, and thanking Ju Hyak, who replied he was looking forward to more teamwork. On the 10th floor, Ju Hyak noticed his physical abilities had been boosted to match his level traits, and combat skills had been added. He could really feel it. His body was brimming with strength and mana, especially in his lower abdomen. He joked that he felt like an untamable wild horse, and told John he was going to pitch him more. John immediately shut that down, saying if Ju Hyak got even a scratch, he'd have to bash his own head in. Ju Hyak insisted he'd be fine, but John said praise alone was enough. Ju Hyak wanted to fight together, though. Suddenly, the ground shook, and a massive, creepy mantis with one giant eye appeared. Ju Hyak panicked, wondering how players even managed to take something like this down. Sending 2 people to fight a bug felt like a hit to his pride. John said there was nothing to be embarrassed about, but Ju Hyak insisted it was about him. The mantis clicked its mandibles, and Ju Hyak started hyping John up. The mantis charged, but John dodged, ran up its arm, and sliced off both its arms before cutting through it. Stage cleared. Ju Hyak earned a whole kilo of magic stones and another platinum badge. John flipped his sword in the air, caught it, and announced another mission complete. Now they could take on the 11th floor. Ju Hyak was blown away by the rewards, and since he'd gotten a special perk at 5 platinum badges, he guessed it would happen every 5. Right then, he got the chance to copy a skill from Summon, and the system started listing all of John's abilities. Ju Hyak was surprised, but John told him not to hesitate and just pick Shadow Step. Ju Hyak asked what he meant, and John said not to ask questions, just take it. It was perfect for escaping if anything happened to John. Acting offended, Ju Hyak pretended he looked like the kind of guy who'd ditch his team to save himself, but of course he still picked the skill. He admitted to himself that fast footwork was actually essential in a fight. Total copium moment. Curious if it would work in real life, He went outside to try it, but only ended up looking foolish. He grumbled that if he could summon in the real world, he should be able to use skills too, though there was no consistency. John said he had no idea what Ju Hayak meant, but went along with it anyway. On the 11th day of climbing, Ju Hayak called the Awakened Management Call Center, saying he was a new awakened and needed help. They asked if he wanted government assistance at home, and he said yes, giving his address. All he really wanted was to sell his magic stones, but making that call felt like the bravest thing he'd ever done. Meanwhile, Mina was getting into a car, and Guangyil asked if the guy she checked yesterday was the one. She didn't think so, and he wondered if the real guy would ever appear. She told him another call had come in today, and he should come with her. He said they'd just have to keep chasing leads. If it really was him, they'd have to recruit him to the elite team with every perk they could offer. Ju Hayak, realizing they were on their way, started cleaning his apartment like crazy. Right on time, there was a knock at the door from the management agency. He answered, apologized for his small place, but welcomed them in. Guangyil introduced himself, then Mina followed. Ju Hayak admitted to himself that Mina made him way more nervous. She was just so intense. She got right in his face and insisted it had to be him, the S+ rank player. Ju Hayak froze, wondering if they had some secret way to identify awakened people. He told himself to deny everything and act normal, going full robot. He'd heard about the S+ stuff, but it definitely wasn't him. Mina immediately called him out, saying his face was giving the classic liar vibe. Guangyil told her to stop fishing, and she shrugged, saying she understood and apologized for being disrespectful. Ju Hayak said it was fine, more surprised that they were just testing him. Then Tabby, Korea's tower mascot, gave him the rundown on the tower. It was taller than any building on Earth and had appeared worldwide 20 years ago, but nobody could get close. An invisible barrier blocked everyone. The tower's purpose became clear once players showed up, clear floors one by one. Outside, players were normal, but inside, they gained powers, skills, and rewards that could level up their gear and even boost the world economy. If nobody climbed for too long, a warning appeared, and a 6-month countdown started. No new floor cleared, the tower collapsed. That's how Mumbai vanished. Korea got lucky with only one tower, while most countries had 1 to 3. They estimated 5,000 to 10,000 players in Korea, about 0.01% of the population. Small but steady. They were just behind the US, which was on floor 66. Modern-day heroes were basically holding it together for everyone, and all newly awakened were encouraged to register. Guangyil closed his laptop, saying orientation was over. Ju Hayak muttered that it was kind of cringe. Then Guangyil started asking verification questions. Was he truly awakened? Ju Hayak said yes, showing some monocrystals as proof of clearing. Guangyil asked which floor he'd reached, and when Ju Hayak said the 10th, both of them realized that matched the player they were searching for. Mina asked if he'd heard about the global announcement. Ju Hayak played it cool, saying he had, and that whoever did it was incredible, though he sounded totally robotic. Guangyil told him not to be nervous, but Ju Hayak's teeth started chattering anyway. Guangyil noticed this was suspicious, but went on to explain the contract details. Players were split into 2 teams, the elite team and the general raid team. General players could climb at their own pace, like freelancers, while elite players worked closely with the bureau, tackling higher floors with funding, gear, and security, because outside the tower, players were just normal people. Guangyil began talking about salaries, but Ju Hayak panicked. If they realized he was the S+ guy, he'd be swarmed by reporters. He hated being the center of attention. Guangyil mentioned that elite members had to wear body cams, but Ju Hayak cut him off, insisting he'd stick with the general team. Guangyil was surprised, but Ju Hayak made it clear. No spotlight, just chill on safe floors and take a share of the loot. Guangyil said to think it over, but Ju Hayak's mind was made up. Mina decided there was no way he was the S+ player, just another false lead. Plenty of players farmed easy floors, but none owned up to being that pathetic. A coward like him didn't deserve elite status. Determination mattered. Guangyil said they'd respect his choice, but asked if he could do a tower run so they could verify his abilities. Ju Hayak figured they just wanted to see if he was the S+ guy. He agreed, warning it might take 2 hours. They told him to take his time and not feel pressured. As he left, he offered them the food and TV. Once he was gone, Guangyil said he was definitely awakened, but Mina thought he'd quit on the 11th floor, the centipede tunnel. Not hard, just creepy as hell, with 100 bugs to kill, and someone like Ju Hyak would panic and bail. Guang admitted she was usually right, but he decided he'd just tell the director it was another dead end. Back in the tower, Ju Hyak summoned John, who thanked him as usual. They already knew what the 11th floor had in store: centipedes, 3-hour time limit. Ju Hyak was losing his mind, yelling that he hated bugs. John said he could clear it in 5 minutes, but Ju Hyak insisted it had to be slow and steady. None of that S+ speed. He wanted to look like a regular player. John nodded, understanding, and Ju Hyak was happy to finally have a chance to mess up his record and fly under the radar. John started cutting down monsters, but Ju Hyak still thought he was too fast and told him to slow down. John dialed it back, but then Ju Hyak got tossed into the air by a centipede, panicking and screaming that he needed to run as the bugs swarmed him. John jumped in, cutting everything down and wiping out all the centipedes nearby. Ju Hyak realized he'd ruined the pace, telling John to stop, but John reminded him that keeping him safe always came first. They still got another platinum badge, and Ju Hyak cursed himself for messing up. John apologized, but Ju Hyak was annoyed. He left the tower, and Mina commented that it had been 5 minutes, so he'd be back any second. Sure enough, the status window announced the floor was cleared, and Ju Hyak reappeared. They both realized they'd blown it. The timing was too perfect. Ju Hyak briefly imagined having to silence them both to keep his secret. Suddenly, John appeared behind him, and Ju Hyak freaked, picturing John cutting off their heads and tying ribbons on them, apologizing profusely. He snapped out of it, sweating, cleared his throat, and said he was fine. Guang insisted their elite team needed a talent like him. But Ju Hyak said, there must be a mistake. It was probably just a coincidence with another player's clear time. Guang wasn't convinced, but Ju Hyak insisted it wasn't him. They agreed to prepare the contract anyway, and Ju Hyak laughed, happy they bought his story. But when they handed it over, it was for the elite team. He protested, saying he wanted a general contract, but Guang explained this was a unique case. An ultra-elite contract, 12 billion a year, free real estate, double VIP treatment, full security, even immunity privileges. Ju Hyak joked that at this point, he was basically royalty. Guang said those perks were only for Korea's #1 player, Yak Min, and told him to check it out, but Ju Hyak refused. If it wasn't a general contract, he wasn't playing. They wondered why he was so against it, and Ju Hyak explained that attention stressed him out. He was a total introvert. Climbing the tower was fun now, but only the 11th floor knew what the future held. Guang agreed to back off and offer the general contract, noting that most people would be frustrated seeing this. He asked why not just take the elite contract, enjoy the perks, and climb? Ju Hyak explained the elite contract came with heavy responsibilities. Once he joined, he couldn't quit climbing. The team existed to push to the top, and that was too much pressure. He just wanted a chill, comfortable life. Back at the management office, Kunga pointed out that the report didn't match what they'd heard over the phone. Ju Hyak sounded timid and unmotivated. Guang confirmed it was accurate. Su didn't understand, saying Ju Hyak just seemed like someone who couldn't stand people. Ju Hyak wondered if they'd made a mistake, but Mina said the timing was way too perfect. Hungu insisted that even if Ju Hyak seemed timid, he was still an insane talent who needed to be recruited to the elite team. Guang promised he'd make it happen. Back with Ju Hyak, he was yelling, absolutely not. Pretending to be angry, he told John they'd been busted and that next time John disobeyed, he'd unsummon him on the spot. John apologized. They moved on to the 12th floor, where the task was to beat 20 icicle spear weasels in 3 hours. Ju Hyak insisted they take it slow, just like he ordered. John saluted, saying loyalty above all else. Ju Hyak thought maybe he could trust John this time. If they played it cool from the 12th floor onward, maybe the agency would lose interest. But holy crap, it was cold. He'd come prepared, but it was even colder than expected. John noticed Ju Hyak shivering and asked if he was okay. Ju Hyak tried to play it cool, but John said they needed to finish fast so Ju Hyak wouldn't catch a cold, which John claimed was an incurable disease. Ju Hyak groaned that absolute obedience was clearly a myth. Of course, they still got another S+ clear for the floor. Guang called to ask if Ju Hyak had cleared the 12th floor. He said yes, but admitted the 13th might be too hard. John, feeling warm now, said he was going to watch TV. Ju Hyak unsummoned him, crying that he didn't deserve the privilege. The next day, on the 13th floor, Ju Hyak complained it was full of traps, way too dangerous to mess around. John said he'd just break through everything, carrying Ju Hyak like a princess to the end. Perfect clear, of course. On the 14th floor, monsters had wide-range eyeball attacks, so John handled them before they even had a chance. Another perfect clear. Ju Hyak figured whatever happened, happened. He sold all his magic stones, making almost 3 million, plus a 2 million support fund for being a general player. Adding the new stones, he made over 7 million in 14 days. If he kept climbing, who knew how much he could earn? Selling through the office meant $1 million a day, no fees or taxes. He decided to quit his part-time jobs. The next day, he summoned John, who was in the corporal punishment pose, humbled that Ju Hyak still gave him 5 stars despite disobeying. Ju Hyak told John he could clear however he wanted from now on. No need to go slow. John asked if that was really okay, and Ju Hyak said the office already knew. With more platinum badges, he'd have 15 after this mission. More perks were likely, and he was greedy. Perks meant more safety. He told John it was time to kick more ass. On the 15th floor, the task was to take down 20 goblin workers. Ju Hyak noted these were the first humanoids he'd faced, and even if they were dumb, they still had some brains. John explained that from here, clearing got tricky, even with good info. If one goblin escaped, he'd bring others. Goblins were sneaky bastards. John would have to stay hidden, wipe them out, then come back. He used his stealth skill, and Ju Hyak wondered if he'd use that again later. 2 goblins lost their heads before the third even noticed. At this rate, there was no risk of them fighting back or warning the others. Mission done. Level up. More magic stones, another healing potion, and a platinum token. Both of them grinned as they got sent back to Ju Hyak's room. Ju Hyak opened his inventory, seeing he now had 15 badges. As expected, he unlocked another perk. At 5 badges, he got a trait enhancement. At 10, he got skill copy. Now he was wondering what the next perk would be, but for now, they were back on the chill seat. The new perk for obtaining 15 badges was an item, an energy shield that had been sent to his tower inventory. He promptly equipped it. It was a kit with the effect of protecting the user by absorbing damage. It had a limit to how much damage it could absorb, a cooldown of 5 hours, and its effect could scale with level. Upon equipping it, the kit became a full armor, wrapping Ju Hyak's body in a transparent suit. According to the description, it lacked the tower exclusive restriction. Ju Hyak tried equipping it outside the tower, and bingo, he could use it in the real world as well. He pondered how much he could get if he sold it on the market. 2, maybe 3 billion. Maybe he should sell it right now and retire from climbing the tower. But the thought that if he climbed higher, the rewards would be even better stopped him from selling it. He asked John if they could clear the 16th floor with an S+ rank immediately. John, while eating some chicken, said it was definitely possible, but he couldn't guarantee an S+ rank. Ju Hyak was surprised. Until now, getting S+ had been effortless. The idea of selling the bracelet popped back into his head, tempting him again. Meanwhile, at the association, Mr. Park noted that global S++ clear announcements had stopped and asked how much time had passed since the last one. Gwangle noted that it was the 15th day and Ju Hyak was currently stopped at the 15th floor. Mr. Park grew furious that a player with such talent was being so timid, holding back his own progress. Gwangle explained that the 16th floor would be much harder, but he believed Ju Hyak hadn't given up on the conquest. Their discussion was interrupted by a notice that Ju Hyak was coming to the association to use the player's shop. Mr. Park, surprised, suggested he might be farming the 15th floor to raise funds for new items. Gwangle agreed, noting it made sense since Ju Hyak had been completely unequipped before. Mr. Park angrily called himself a fool for not realizing Ju Hyak's true objective, criticizing his own judgment, and then ordered that when Ju Hyak arrived, he should be allowed to take any item he wanted at a giveaway price. 15 days earlier, John had been stunned by what Ju Hyak had just asked, to stab himself with a dagger. John, not understanding, said that if he had displeased Ju Hyak, he should at least beat him to death or cut off an arm. In truth, Ju Hyak only wanted to test the energy shield. John, like a child, started screaming that he hadn't heard anything and couldn't understand Ju Hyak. Ju Hyak simply pulled John's arm, driving the dagger into his own stomach. Blood splashed out, and he admitted he'd forgotten to activate the shield while pouring a potion onto the wound. John collapsed, shouting that he would cut off the arm that had hurt his summoner. He screamed at Ju Hyak that he must never do that again. Ju Hyak agreed calmly and told John to continue hunting. John then tore through one goblin after another, killing all of them in under 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Ju Hyak practiced the skill he'd copied, Shadow Step, and discovered he could move a great distance instantly. Mesmerized by the sensation, Ju Hyak said he finally understood why John had told him to learn Shadow Step, using it repeatedly to move freely. Eventually, he stopped behind a goblin lying low to hide from John. The goblin leapt at him, but Ju Hyak raised his arm, blocking the bite with the energy shield, then kicked its jaw, screaming that it was disgusting. John, seeing the goblin flying toward him, cut it in half, calling a nice pass. He then realized the goblin had come from Ju Hyak's side and rushed over, asking if he was okay and whether he'd been hurt. After confirming he was fine, John screamed at Ju Hyak for being reckless, just as he had warned before. After farming the 15th floor for 15 days, Ju Hyak had accumulated 22.5 kilograms of magic stones, worth 11,250,000. Back in the present, Gwangil thanked Ju Hyak for the call. Ju Hyak asked if he could see the player shop immediately, and Gwangil agreed. When Ju Hyak arrived at the association, Gwangil greeted him, saying it had been a while, and offered to show him the way. Ju Hyak got shy, calling it VIP treatment. After registering his biometrics, he was allowed to visit the shop whenever he wanted. Gwangil offered to show him the interior, but Ju Hyak said he'd look around himself. Upon entering, he was surprised by how luxurious everything was, though he wondered why there were no other customers. Maybe the items were just too expensive. He had no time to think. He was there to sell all his magic stones. He sold them for 11,250,000 and asked if he could use the money immediately. The agent confirmed it was possible. With his social energy completely drained, Ju Hyak just wanted to grab what he came for and go home. Mr. Park asked if he was shopping without any issues, and Gwangil confirmed he was, adding that the association had closed a shop exclusively for Ju Hyak that day. Staff had been instructed to sell all items at 90% off, since giving them away for free would have only troubled him. Back home, Ju Hyak tested his new adamant mace, which he bought for 2 million, along with his basilisk leather boots for 3 million. He wondered if items normally started around 20 million, but judging by how Gwangil had greeted him, this was clearly special treatment. It felt like a burden, but at least the boots looked good. With the boots and bracelet, he now had a full defensive set, all thanks to his perks. He had promised himself he wouldn't get greedy while climbing the tower, but this perk was starting to change that. The next day, he summoned John, who arrived saluting and asking if they'd farm the 15th floor again. Ju Hyak denied it, saying they would go to the 16th floor instead. The cooldown for his summoning skill was over, so he planned to summon another person. Saying prayers from around the world and finishing with an abracadabra, he used random summon. A purple silhouette appeared, growing until the person's head broke through the ceiling. Ju Hyak, desperate, asked what on earth he had just summoned. And that's where we leave off for today. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.